Dev, what's going on, bro?
Not much, man. Just chilling. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Always good. Appreciate you swinging by, hanging out with me and the crew. Shoot, man, I think this is gonna be a good conversation today.
Of course, should be great, man.
Yeah. So, what are you up to, man? Before we get into all the backstory and everything, what is Dev doing today?
Feels like everything, honestly. Trying to touch my hand in really everything with the basketball world right now. So, building a gym for my training company should be early February is when it gets finalized. So that's the biggest thing I got my hands in. Just getting the marketing done. It's actually primarily a performance gym, so we're trying to really hit home on the marketing to make sure people know it's not just basketball. So that's taking most of my time. And then coaching a high school team, getting ready for AAU season. Just got named director of the girls side of the program, so we're trying to build that out. And then we're building a 15,000 square foot facility next year. So we're in the planning and kind of design structure of that right now. So
For sure.
feels like everything, man.
That's
But
what's
it's
up,
good.
dude.
It's good. It's exciting.
That's what's up, dude. So, man, you have a really interesting, like, hoop journey. I feel.
I would say so. It's very unique.
Talk about like high school to college and just what that looked like. Cause we know the story, but I think
Yeah.
they should know.
So high school, it's really funny because I'm not good at basketball in high school. Like I wasn't horrible, but like very average. Like senior year, borderline starter on a 5A school. Junior year, flip between JV and varsity. And it wasn't for nothing bad. It was just my brother was a high academic kid. He was a nerd. He finished 7th in his class of 600 kids. So my parents, my family, my culture was to say, hey, you're going to be smart. You're going to go to school because you're smart, not even anything with basketball. So I never focused on it like that.
Mhm.
It was just a fun thing. So my senior year, I was starting to get a little bit better, starting to take it more serious. But my dad passed away the summer before my senior year, and he was my basketball guy. So at the time, I was like, F all this. I'm not playing basketball. I'm not doing none of it. But thank God my mom forced me to play my senior year and kept me around it. But then I still decided, I was like, hey, I'm not ready to go do anything in college. I'm not trying to care. So I went to San Diego State, spent 2 years there. My sophomore year, I had a basically preferred walk-on, but I turned it down. I just didn't feel.
Was that at San Diego State?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just
How'd you get that?
I knew a lot of guys on the team. I was
Gotcha.
cooking everybody at the rec center.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys on the team, like the walk-ons and the bench guys, literally just came to the rec center to hoop.
Yeah.
Like they was regular kids. So
I know that life. I've been there. I've done that for sure.
So that's what happened. So I was in there playing against them, like, hey man, like we're gonna have a spot next year. Something, whatever. They got contacted with the coach. I never talked to the coach directly, but they're basically, hey, come to the tryouts. It's your spot to lose. So it wasn't a technical PWO, but it was still basically a PWO.
Yeah. That's what's up.
But I turned that down. I didn't feel good about it mentally. And then, like, right after that happened, I was like, man, I had, like, an identity crisis. I was like, man, I'm a basketball player. I don't know what else to do. I'm sitting here like a regular student when I'm not. But, again, thank God, my best friend was an All-American as a freshman at this D3 school, Austin College. So it wasn't very hard for me to get there.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend went to the coach, like, hey, there's another one of me, but he's taller and shoots the ball better. And the coach said, yes, sir, we'll take him. So no film, no recruitment, no nothing.
Dang.
Just literally took a little visit, which wasn't a visit, shook the coach's hand. I mean, I was doing my research academically, everything lined up. So, looking back on it, it's a blessing. At the time, I was like, man, it's a D3.
Yeah.
It's easy to get in here.
Right.
But looking back on it, I was like, man, the coach did not have to do that for me.
For sure.
There's no reason he needed a kid with no film, nothing, just literally a chance based off what people are saying.
Yeah.
So looking back on it, it was really a blessing that he gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
But I was all conference both years I went there. And then my plan was to grad transfer up, get my master's, and then go overseas. So I grad transferred, and right when my season ended, I put myself in the portal, COVID hit. So I had probably 15, 20 schools between D1s and D2s hitting me up. Then after probably a week, about 15 to 20 contacts, probably 10 to 15 of those were like, hey, we're planning on offering. After about a week, they're like, hey, we don't have money anymore. We don't know what we can give you. So I was left with 3 schools.
Yeah.
So 3 schools with money. So I went to Colorado Springs, no visit, no nothing, just because it was COVID, couldn't do anything. And I've been to Colorado before. That's the only reason I went. And it just wasn't the best experience. I just think COVID, no one being on campus, and I knew I wasn't going to stay out there, so I really was kind of disassociating myself from everybody at the time. Kind of led to not the best experience, but I'm glad I went. Got injured there, though, so I didn't end up going overseas.
Got you.
Then in the background of all that, I was training, so came back home, started training full-time, and spent probably last 3.5 years doing that, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude.
So,
Cool.
like I said,
Cool
long
story, bro.
Very lots of twists and turns, but
Dude.
I'm about to say, I think for what I'm doing right now, I think it's a blessing because I have experience at, even though Colorado Springs wasn't great for me, it's still, I mean, it's high-level D2.
Yeah.
We stomp on D1 schools every year. So it's a D1 level experience, but it's a D2 school. And then I also play at D3, which is normally okay, these kids aren't very good. This is the little high school 2.0 type of basketball. I'm like, it's not.
But a lot of those guys can hoop, though.
What?
Yeah.
Every starting five in the country, 90% of those guys can play D1. Just not even D3. I just mean D3, D2, NAIA.
Yeah.
I'd say probably, circumstantially, 90% of those guys can play D1. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go start at Duke, but, I mean, there'll be some dudes at every school where it's like, yeah, why are you here?
Yeah, like, I mean, a lot of those guys can go to, like, a North Dakota State. And
that's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of circumstances. I've seen some dudes who are D1 where I'm like, all right, bro. Like, I don't know why you're here, but you just won the lottery, which is okay. There's no shade, but it's just like, I hate the disparity between all the levels, personally, because it's just like, it's college basketball at the end of the day, and depending on what your priorities are, that should determine what level you're looking for. For sure. There's great reasons to be a D3 player. There's also great reasons to be a D1 player.
Yeah, dude. That was, like, my thing, too, was, like, coming out, I had, like, some NAIA offers, and I had, like, some D2 looks, and then, like, a couple PWOs for D1. And I was like, all right, well, like, what really matters to me? And it was like my brand, setting me up for whatever was, like, after college, because I knew that I probably wasn't going to go pro. Yeah. So I was just like, all right, let me attack this NIL, see if I can get some money, like. Super smart. Like, try to build something while I'm here. And then, so I mean, shoot, that's why I chose to go D1. Because, like, yeah, I could have went and hooped at an NAIA, but, like, no, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, though.
But that was, I mean, like I said, it just depends on your priority. For sure. Because for me, like, if I had the knowledge I had now when I was younger, I wouldn't even looked at the D1 schools when I was grad transferring. Yeah. Because I would have known D2. Even I had a D3 that was the number one D3 in the nation for the last, like, 10 years. I would have went there. That was my number one. Dang. Because you go get film. Yeah. If I go to a D1, I mean, I shot 46% from three my senior year. That's the reason all the schools were looking at me.
Yeah, that's good. I'm a shooter, and I'm saying, like, that's
you're in the transfer portal. It says 6'5", 46% from three. They're going to look at you.
For sure.
So that's why I had all the looks. But for me, I'm like, okay, now I'm competing as a shooter for a D1. If I go to a D2, even my D3 offer that I loved, it was like, I'm going to go be the scorer, the number one player. Not D2s, I wouldn't have been number one. But still, I would have been a focal point. Yeah. I'm getting better film, so whenever I submit film to go overseas, I'd rather have the film of me scoring 35 rather than the film of me scoring, he had 3 threes in 9 minutes.
Where you can get, like, washed out.
Yeah, it's just because them overseas teams, they don't, if I went to Duke, they would care. Right. But they don't know the difference between Colorado Springs and Norfolk State. Yeah. That means nothing to some team in Lithuania. Right. But the difference between 35 points on 12 of 18 shooting and 9 points on 3 or 4 from three, that's a huge difference. Yeah. Even though you're the same player. So if you're trying to go overseas, you need to go where you're going to get film. For sure. If you're trying to grow a brand, go to Texas. Yeah.
That's always. Dude, that's how I saw it, bro. Because it was like, all right, I'm a 6'1" on a good day white kid. I've got like 4 dunks under my belt.
You don't?
Probably not going to do this for very, very long.
But here's the thing. When I first heard about you, you see you, and it's just like, why the hell is he at Texas? Dog. And it's just
you know how often I got that question?
You have to, because because, like, for your brand, it makes it way more interesting. For sure. Even though you're the same level of player, I know you can hoop. Yeah. I did my research on you once I learned. Yeah. But it's just like that initial thought goes through people's head. Now I'm worried about you. I'm thinking about you. Yeah. If you were at Austin College, I'd be like, okay.
Well, dude, that happens a lot in, like, pickup runs now. It's like I'll walk in and, like, dudes will look at me and be like, man, he went to Texas, whatever. Now, here's the downside of that. Because if I have a bad day, like, if I'm not hitting shots, then it's like, oh, well, then I can go to Texas if this guy did. Like,
you
couldn't, bro.
I feel like you live with that no matter what, though.
For sure.
But they also don't know what sacrifices you have to make just to be at Texas. I've heard.
Yeah, dude, it's that was a wild ride for sure, man. But dude, let's talk about like your training business.
For sure.
Because I've done some training and I've like dabbled in it, but like you and then like a couple other guys in the area, I mean, y'all are real professionals when it comes to it. So
for
like
sure.
How did you like? I know you were saying you were training in the background for your college career. When did you like really get into it?
So starting training was a funny story. Because, like I said, my dad was my basketball guy. So, I'm like 16. So, I'm probably about a junior. I'm getting ready for work. I was working at Finish Line at the time. Normal day, nothing's changed. My dad's sitting behind his computer, getting ready, get my stuff, ready, leave for work. My dad's like, hey, man, where you going? It's like, work. Duh. You see the stupid blue shirt I'm wearing? He's like, how much you make per hour? I was like, $7.50, $8, I don't know. He's like, all right, cool. I'm going to have something for you when you come back. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Boom, spend 4 hours there, come back. He's like, hey, check this out. So it's he was on Nextdoor or Facebook, one of the two. He makes a post where it's basically, hey, my name's Devin Roland. I'm a varsity player at Wakeland High School, blah, 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 blah. If you have any kids in the area who want to work out, just message me. This is my phone number. So that night I get like 3-4 texts, a couple parents. And my dad's like, hey, charge them like $20, $25 an hour for an individual. So I was like, $25 an hour?
It's better than what you're making, yeah.
I was just like, it didn't even feel right in my head. I was like, Dad, I can't do that. I was like, $25 an hour is a lot of money. Because, again, I'm 16.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, it's hilarious to me. But
facts.
At the time, I was like, oh, my gosh, $25 an hour. So I was like, oh, I'm going to work 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, and make $50 a day, which is close to double what I was making a Finish on.
Yeah.
And then if you want to cheat, you don't have to pay taxes on it. It was cash.
Yeah.
So even then, if you really wanted to cheat it, which I didn't, my mom's way too financial for that.
Yeah.
But you can really finesse the system.
Yeah.
But no, so I did that. So at the time in high school, I was like, man, this is like a cheat code.
And you're doing this like as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, I'm
like,
16.
You were what, junior? Sophomore?
Mm-hmm. Junior.
Yeah.
I was super young. I graduated at 17.
Yeah. So, dude, like, I was doing it in high school too. And I told PV like how much I was charging a head. It was like 20, 25.
Yeah.
And he was like, 75.
Yes.
I was like, for real? He was like, bro, they will pay.
Correct.
Dude, like.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But for me, and I think that was my thing, and I think I stuck with the philosophy this whole time. It's just like, I can't be in this business to get rich. Because it's like, you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with families who don't know better. It's like, for me, I don't have the heart to be like, because I could charge kids $200 an hour.
Yeah.
Not really, because building a gym is not the most financially responsible move. The most financially responsible move is to have 10 kids who will pay me $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, that's not, I don't think anyone's worth that personally. I was like, because to me, I'm always preaching, you need to live in the gym regardless.
Yeah.
If I'm charging you $200 an hour, you can't do that physically.
Right.
So I'm trying to find ways to stay with what I preach and what I believe in on top of providing the best service I can.
Right.
But no, yeah, so I was charging $20, $25 an hour that first year. And like I said, I quit my job. I was making easy money. And then I went to college, came back, kept building connections. And it was really good. So at the time, like I said, it was just the equivalent of my summer job. And then my senior year at Austin College, I had one of my parents come out to my senior night. He's like, hey, what are you doing after this? What do you want to do? And I was like, well, I'm getting a degree got my degree in data science analytics, minor in marketing, master's in marketing. So very business background. And I was like, no, I want to train basketball like an idiot. He's like, all right, cool. Go get your master's. I'm going to build a gym for you while you're doing that. I was like, oh, dope. Cool. That relationship ended up falling through. Nothing major. It wasn't even something negative. Just that kid's actually doing great things. That kid's in England right now playing cricket professionally at the age of 13.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh, that's weird, bro. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So, like I said, it was just the basketball thing kind of fizzled out on that end, which, like I said, more power to him. But, like I said, that dude was a blessing in my life, and that family was a blessing just because it made me dive in. Because I don't think I would have dove head first into training if it wasn't for, hey, I'm going to have this for you when you're done. And then I just kind of cycled between a couple different people I worked with for a while. And then my current business partner, met him in the funniest way ever.
Yeah.
That story is weird. I got a text one day. He's like, hey, I have a 7th grader who's pretty good at basketball. Do you want to come train him? And so at the time, like I said, I had like probably 2-3 partners fizzle out. Just training at parks, training wherever I can get in, not making a ton of money. I'm getting a little bit, I'm not going to say older, but I'm not 21. I'm 23, 24. So I was like, all right, I need to be an adult at some point.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, do I need to start looking for jobs and do this on the side for a little bit? What do I need to do? Because it's not panning out. So he texts me, he's like, hey, I have a 7th grader who's pretty good, blah, 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 blah. Can you come work him out? And I was like, no, I can't. Because everyone who says they have a middle schooler who's good, without fail, the middle schooler is normally not as good as they say.
Right.
And mentally, I'm in a headspace where I was like, I don't even really care about this stuff right now. I was like, I just need to go get some money up. And then if we can revisit this later in my life, cool. If not, whatever. I still have a really good degree. I walk into the gym. The only reason I went, the kid's homeschooled. It was during the day. I had nothing else to do. Walking to the gym, kids standing at half court shooting free throws. At 7th grade, no jump, just with form, bottom of the net, no rim. 3 of those things in a row. I was like, all right, buddy, let me try to wake up.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to train this. You got to figure out how to make this kid better.
I was like, oh my God, who is this kid?
Yeah.
And so it was a really, really, really awkward workout, really weird situation. But like I said, over the years that panned out. His dad's more so my mentor at this point, but technically my business partner.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's a big reason why not only I stayed in the business and doing it full time, but he's definitely the only reason why I'm able to have 2 gyms being built within the year and doing a lot of the stuff, a lot of the connections I've made are through him and through that family. So that's the reason I got to stay in it and be in it. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, everything's a long, wild, weird journey.
Nah, dude, I mean, I feel like that's how you got to get there, though.
It is.
So how old are you now?
26.
26? Okay, yeah. Cool. So you got your 2 gyms that are opening up. I mean, that's dope, man. Like, so I guess for you, you're in the business of people more so.
Have to be.
Yeah.
Have to be. The basketball stuff is definitely a bonus, but I mean, a lot of it's networking, just like anything in life.
For sure.
I mean, I've seen some of the worst trainers have some of the best clientele just because they know a guy who know this person. That's just how it works. If you network well, you're in the right circles, you meet the right people.
No doubt. So when it comes to training, what's like your philosophy?
I wouldn't say I have necessarily a philosophy. I like basing most of my workouts, most of my stuff just kind of depends on what time of the year it is, and it depends on the player. Some players learn and they need a very serious environment where it's only, okay, I'm a point guard, I'm coming off this pick and roll, I'm bad against that drop coverage. So they need a cone and they need me in drop coverage with a stick, and we're going to do that a million times.
Yeah.
That's how some players' brains work, and that's how some people feel like they get better. And a lot of that is mental. And some people need some more of the obscure stuff. A lot of the stuff I post on Instagram where I'm dribbling a tennis ball with a basketball, or I'm moving cones around and doing all sorts of funny stuff. Some people feel like that because you're mastering a new task. You've given them a challenge they've never had to do before. So by putting them in an environment where they have to learn something new, they also get better along the way, because every single workout, you give them a problem, they overcome a problem. Give them a problem, they overcome a problem.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it depends on the athlete. I'm trying to really focus on learning more in the psychology aspect of things and learning how people's brains work, so I can kind of tap into that stuff quicker.
Yeah. And
say, okay, this type of kid, this type of player, they need this specific stuff over here. So I try not to make myself a master of one thing and only one thing.
Right. Because
a lot of times, you need to be able to adapt and be able to work with anybody.
For sure.
But like I said, I mean, a lot of the times it's super basic. If they're in season, you're getting them game shots. If they're out of season, we're working on either heightening strengths or building on weaknesses.
Yeah.
So it's nothing ever too complicated in that sense. But it's also very dependent. Like I said, I can't stay in, I'm a point guard trainer.
Right.
Just because that limits me and who I have access to. So
for sure.
Still trying to learn and get better at everything, but for the most part, like I said, it's just a lot of research, it's a lot of film at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Sitting at 2 a.m. on huddle watching some new high schooler.
Yeah. Do you think that because you're a younger guy, parents are a little bit reserved in terms of having you train their kid?
I dealt with that a lot more before, probably the last year. I would say there's a real shift. I don't exactly know when it happened. I can't pinpoint it. I think probably a year and a half, 2 years ago is when it shifted. But before, I feel like parents trusted me because I was good at basketball.
Yeah.
So they saw me, they saw what I could do as a player, and like, okay, I want my kid to learn from this good basketball player.
Right.
I think in the last couple years, I think that shift happened really when, mostly when I started training JC. I don't know if you know her, JC Ivy. 5-star. She just narrowed her top.
You know what? Yeah, I've seen her
dunking as a freshman.
That's crazy. Yeah.
She's a ridiculous basketball player. But I think when she and her families trusted me, around that time I had a lot of pros and I was doing more content stuff on the training, but I had pros, college kids, and then I have the #1 high schooler in Texas, in my opinion, the nation, but I'm a little bit biased. But to me, it's the #1 high school player in the nation.
Yeah.
If they can trust you as a coach, and I'm now coaching my AAU team, my players are all, not all D1, but I have a lot of college players I coach.
Right.
I'm training the best player in the nation. I'm doing all these things. At some point, my resume is long enough to where it's like, okay, maybe he's just a decent coach.
Yeah.
So I feel like around that point is when people stop viewing me as a player and started viewing me as a coach. So I don't deal with it too much now. It used to bother me a ton. But like I said, I think more people are finding me through the coaching sphere.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely have, even to this day, some parents who know everything apparently.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're gonna deal with that no matter what.
I was gonna ask you
bother
that.
Me anymore.
Like, I know that a lot of parents, for good reason, are real hands-on with their kids, and like my dad wasn't too bad about this when it came to like trainers and stuff.
Yeah.
But like my dad didn't hoop, so like he played hockey.
Cool.
And he thought basketball was soft. So like when I started playing,
sense, though.
Yeah. But like when I started playing basketball, he was like really hands-on because he was learning too, and like he insisted on being like my trainer, which there was huge benefits to that, but there was also like some downfalls. But I imagine that you deal with a lot of parents who like swear they know everything.
Oh, all the time. But what I always tell parents for the most part, I've gotten better at talking to people up front, and just kind of not even establishing guidelines. But my normal joke is like, hey, if kids listen to their parents, I wouldn't have a job right now. There's truth in it, but it's also meant to be kind of funny. It's just like, hey, it's not that I'm trying to tell you that I know better than you.
Right.
It's only that the kid needs a different voice.
Yeah.
So you need to trust the fact that the kid needs multiple voices, and you need trusted voices around you. I think the biggest problem anyone can do, and multiple kids who train with me and left, like, it's fine. I tell them, I'm like, hey, stick with somebody. I was like, I don't care if it's me. I don't care if it's somebody else. Stick with somebody. Rock with them. Listen to that voice if they listen to the voice well. Because it's not a hard game. Most parents, like my mom tells me I'm shooting my free throw wrong. She's probably right. She's like, hey, you're not following through all the way. She's probably right. My mom's never touched a basketball a day in her life.
Yeah.
But she's seen so much through my journey.
And she knows you.
And she gets to sit there and watch the game. She gets to be a parent in the stands. It's not hard to see the mistakes.
Yeah.
So, yes, you do need your trainers, but at the same time, it's just like, I try to make it appear in the sense like I'm not telling you you're wrong. We're on the same team here, and I think that's where a lot of parents, they feel like, okay, this guy, why am I paying this guy for anything when I can just do the same thing? So I'm still learning how to do it, but kind of getting in a situation where the parents building that trust early and understanding where I'm coming from early. For sure. And also, like I said, I try to make everything a little bit lighthearted too. So presenting it in the way that, hey, it's a joke, we're on the same team. You know, if you have something you see, let me know. We can have a conversation about it. So I definitely try to make it as open as possible to where everyone's on the same team trying to get the kid better.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to approach it, man.
It still doesn't work all the time, though. Let's not
for sure.
Don't get it twisted.
Of course, I mean, dude, it's never going to be 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I've also learned to accept like you're not the right trainer for everybody.
Right.
And there's certain kids where it's like I'm not gonna push to be that trainer because like for me, I'm not very good at being a drill sergeant. We're gonna sit here and you're gonna want to die for the next 2 hours. I can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not my personality. It's not how I got better. It's just like, hey, I want to build a spot for you where you want to be here every day.
Right.
That's how I approach it. It's like I want you to feel like you want to come to the gym for 2 hours every night after you had basketball practice, after you did all this. That's how I feel like you get better for the most part.
Yeah.
The drill sergeant stuff, that's coaching.
Yeah.
That's your practices. That should be practice. Training time, you're supposed to be learning to me.
Right.
But some people don't need that.
Some
people need a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
In which case I'm like, hey, I know a guy for you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
so
fine.
Last thing I kind of want to touch on, man, something that I think that you've been really, really good with is just the content side. So, like, what got you into doing the content stuff? How'd you get better at it?
So, no, the content side, well, I got started I had too much time on my hands. Being honest, I was training. Kids don't get out of school till 4. So from the time I wake up till 4 p.m., it's like, all right, not much to do. So I was just really doing it to do it, but I didn't really have a plan. I didn't have anything really to say at the time. And then obviously I blew up. If anyone knows me from content, I blew up because of Segi, or alongside Segi at the time. And meeting Segi was hilarious. Cam Wilder had an event in Dallas, probably 2022. It was Cam Wilder versus Gio Wise when their beef was a thing. And Gio Wise was playing anybody for $1,000 one-on-one. So Segi, looking like an idiot, skinny kid wearing a John Morant jersey, is over there barking, talking crazy, blah, blah, blah. So he gets himself the one-on-one, kills Gio Wise. At the time, I don't have any, like, ideas content-wise. I really don't have anything. I was like, hey, I'm going to post anything about basketball. So I was like, man, if I can be the first person to post Gio Wise losing, it's probably going to do pretty well. So I posted it, went to sleep, woke up the next day. My comments are flooded. Hey, man, why didn't you tag @Segi Hoops, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I don't know who this kid is, bro. I'm sorry. I don't know who Segi is. But I have, like, probably 25, 30 comments, like, hating on me for not knowing this guy. I go to his account. He's got, like, 1,000, 2,000 followers. I'm like, bruh, how am I supposed to know this dude?
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that like I was big time. Like I had 1,000, 2,000 followers too.
Yeah.
But I was like, bro, I don't think anyone knows me.
But relatively, I mean, that's not
compared to exactly.
You don't expect anyone to know you,
especially on TikTok, bro. Like 2,000 followers on TikTok is nothing.
Yeah.
You get that from one good video.
Right.
So it's just like I was like taken aback, but at the time, like I said, there's no ego, nothing. So I immediately go to Segi's account, follow him, DM him. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm so sorry. I just genuinely don't know who you are. And he was good people. He was like, hey, man, it's cool. Let's get some content together. So we linked up, did some stuff. And, I mean, obviously, beginning of it was very cringy. I hate going back and looking at it.
Yeah.
But
y'all were figuring it out, though.
Yeah, we bounced ideas off each other very well. And just because he was in school at the time and I didn't have anything to do till 4 p.m. most of the time, it worked out very well because we didn't have any other reason. Like, we had nothing else to do. So we just went to the gym, recorded. It's really funny. Most of his ideas came from me. Most of my ideas came from him. So we were really good, and we kind of held each other accountable, making sure, we were just there every day. We had someone to go do it with and go do it for. So, no, it definitely helped us grow. It was definitely good, and it kind of gave me a lane. My only problem with it is I was becoming known as a funny entertainer guy, which wasn't what I was trying to build. I was trying to be a coach and a trainer, trying to be respected.
Yeah.
So I just had a moment in there, and I kind of feel bad because I just kind of stopped recording stuff with him so much because it was just like I didn't have any good ideas training-wise that could go viral and keep up my followers, but I can't have little kids like, hey, can we take a picture, get an autograph, blah, 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 because I'm funny.
Yeah.
I was like, because then my training's secondary to them, and they're not going to respect me for what I need to do.
Right.
And I was also like, if I'm a parent, I'm not going to have my kid training with the comedy guy. I was like, I wouldn't, especially a high-level player, I'm not going to go send a 4 or 5 star to go train with this funny dude. Now the kid might want to, but I was like, nothing gets taken seriously.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I just kind of lost the love for it on that end. So the last 2 years, I mean, the content just hasn't been the biggest priority for me. I'm definitely going to try to get back to it, especially with the gym opening right now. It's becoming a bigger priority, but I think I'm happy with where I'm at right now, because right now most kids in the city of Frisco have seen my page, seen my face before. They know who I train, which even if my follower count isn't at 1 million on TikTok like it probably could be right now. Even though that's not the case, I got my goal.
For sure.
And the goal is people know who I am for what I do. So I'm like, all right, I'm happy with it.
For sure.
So, no, it went pretty well. I mean, I was very happy with what I did. I still look back. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. Nah, man, that's dope, dude. Shoot, I mean, we need to get in the lab, make some content together. Shoot, once you got that gym up, I'll be out there, man.
So it's about a month out.
Yeah.
Not too long.
For sure. Dude, congratulations on everything that you got going on, man. Like, getting a career in basketball is, like, it looks a lot of different ways, but I mean, shoot, you got your lane figured out. So
that's everybody's dream, man.
Yeah, dude, you know I'm right alongside you, bro.
I know.
So appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate you coming out here and hanging out with us, man. That's good stuff.
It's a good time.
Stuff. Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, dude.
Appreciate it. Good.
Cool. Good.